What's up, guys, and welcome back to the episode 2 of another project, or so project number 2. And so this time I am taking apart and trying to fix my own car, the apple of my eye, so to speak. And this is a car that doesn't frequent on YouTube, and there's a lot of material about it available, but it's one of those cars that doesn't, for some reason, have a lot of parts available, even though it's not that old or not that like significantly special. But the car that I'm going to try to fix is that one. As you can see, that's the 2000 mid 2000s Audi A8 D2 platform, and this is the version with the 4.2 liter V8, 228 kilowatts. Not sure how much that's in horsepowers, but yeah, anyway, that is the car. And so it has a bunch of issues. I got it, it was actually pretty fine, like no big problems, but they kind of started creeping in, and all of a sudden it just stopped sort of working. So it's nothing as serious as chain guides and stuff like I did on the BMW, but on this one it keeps going into limp mode. So the gearbox, the automatic gearbox, for some reason just is not working properly anymore, and it didn't come with any warnings, it just suddenly started doing it. So I had a person I know help me with getting out the codes. I don't have the code reader that would function on this one just yet. Hopefully I'll get one soon. Yeah, so the codes that I got basically seem to be referring to an issue with either the ECU or the MAF, so mass airflow sensor, or it could be also something to do with the throttle body not working. So the gearbox seems to be getting error messages from the ECU, and the ECU doesn't seem to be understanding what the MAF or the throttle body is doing. So somewhere in that chain there's a issue. I have a feeling it could be the ECU, but I don't know. I have to basically figure that out. And so it's gonna be somewhat of a automotive archaeology, I guess. And since I didn't originally think that I would make a video about this at all, but since it's sort of a car that doesn't have a whole lot of like video material out there, I figured why not put this out, so maybe it'll help somebody. So I'll put the list of codes that I got regarding the issues either somewhere over here on the side, or maybe in the description. I'll figure that one out later. So yeah, so anyway, the car itself, like I said, it's from 2000, 5th month of 2000, so it's the facelift model. And although Audi doesn't have like a available thing where you can, like BMWs, you can check the full list of options that it came with from the factory. What I've been able to find out is that it should be mostly in factory condition, as in there's not a whole lot of items that have been added afterwards. But the additions that it has, it's basically fully loaded. The only thing it doesn't have are the optional head cushions on the back seats, on the headrests, I guess. And I think they also had built-in coolers, but this was only, I think, available on the long version. So this is the base version, not the L version of that body style. So yeah, there's a drink cooler in the back where the handrest goes down. So in the bottom, in the back there, they have a cooler built in. So this one doesn't have that. But it does have pretty much everything else. So everything is electrical, self-darkening or self-tinting mirrors. It has heated seats back and front, all four of them. It has lots of it's a long list of stuff that it has, so it's pretty much fully loaded. It's basically as an S8 of the same type, and it even has the fairly rare carbon fiber inserts. I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, so and also I did manage to damage the front bumper during the winter last year, so I'll show you. So over here, as you can see, the bumper is cracked, and this has been already repaired. And it has a pretty nifty, yeah, it's totally out of shape here, and it has a massive crack here as well. So I have to get around and fix that, and the reason I need to fix this is because this bumper is actually quite rare. Not because it's anything special, but for some reason they don't sell it, or if they do, it's like super expensive. And in most cases you would only find aftermarket versions, you won't find the original OEM option. So yeah, and also I got it as it is, so it didn't have the bottom grills for the fog lights, and these on the facelift version are two-part. So there's one plastic that covers the light. I have the lights somewhere in the shelving, but yeah, so one of the plastic covers the light, and there's a grill that looks exactly like that one, and it covers the hull. And so they are missing on both sides. They weren't there when I got the car, and these grills are super rare. You probably can get them from the dealership, but they cost like ridiculous amounts of money for just these two small pieces. So yeah, that's a pretty annoying thing. Yeah, so let's have a quick look inside, what it looks like there, and we'll be able to start figuring out and start taking things apart. Alrighty, so here we are in the back seat. It's a bit dirty. I need to clean it. That is a piece of paper. That is not a cigarette butt. But yeah, it's a bit dirty. But as you can see, most of it is. I mean, it's pretty stock in the sense that there's no fancy aftermarket stuff installed. It's all as it came. And yeah, that's the carbon fiber panels, or panel covers, or whatever you want to call them, and that's actually actual carbon fiber, and it is a factory option, which as far as I've learned seems to be fairly rare. And so basically in the front here, what needs to be doing is the cover that covers or like slides over the ashtray, which I don't use. The cover, the slider or whatever, is broken for some reason. So yeah, that needs doing. This thing functions fine. It has the computer thing that you can actually do some stuff on it, and like set your tire pressures and a few other things. Full econ. So what is the list of issues that it has? So one thing is that the HVAC system threw up codes, so some of the motors that control the flaps and stuff in the bottom there, and then these middle ones, none of them seem to be working, and you can hear some ticking sounds occasionally when it tries to adjust. Whenever you set it to automatic and kind of think for itself, it basically occasionally makes the ticking noise, like the motors don't work. Although it sounds more like the motor itself is actually trying to switch the position for the flaps on the inside there, but the flaps are stuck maybe or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, it sounds like like the rotating tooth wheel jumps teeth essentially. Yeah, so that's one of the issues. The major issue is the gearbox going into the limp mode, and yeah. So, but what is awesome is that everything else that it has, like well, pretty much everything else that it has, including the folding mirrors that it has, the side mirrors. They work. Every other electronic bit basically functions fine. I have not done anything like major on the car. The only thing I have done is I basically switched the original audio that it had. For some reason it had the basic sound package, so I did get my hands on the Bose version, which came with the amplifier and subwoofers and stuff. So all factory though, but still, even though it's factory, it's actually quite nice sounding. So yeah, so anyway, that is how it looks like on the inside. It looks like it's black, but it's actually like super dark blue seats, also factory stuff. And it does even come with the phone, which works. It doesn't work right now because the battery's unhooked, but yeah, that thing actually works as well. So that's pretty awesome. And in the back we also have heated seats and all those goodies. So yeah, and the electric rear curtain and all those bits and bobs. And on the inside also we have the side curtains as well. So yeah, it's pretty nicely decked out, has a lot of goodies, and it's super amazing to drive when it drives. Nice and soft and really comfortable. And considering how cheap this car is, like you can get a fairly decent one for about like in euros that will be maybe about like 3,000-4,000 euros. I don't know how much that is in US buckaroos. Probably around, I don't know, 5,000 something, for $4,500, $5,000 something. You can actually get a pretty decent version of this model. Yeah, so it's definitely a very nice car to own and a very nice car to drive, but you definitely want to make sure that you kind of maintain it as the best as you can. So yeah, sorry about the long intro, but that's sort of the story with this car. And this is my car, and I absolutely love it, and I would never ever sell it unless it completely broke down to the point of no return. But yeah, until I can keep it going, I will definitely do that. So whatever I can do, I'll do. And yeah, so anyway, you're welcome to come along on this interesting journey. Yeah, so let's get into it then.
Into the infinite.
Alrighty, so step, I don't know, 1 is sort of partway complete. So so my first goal is to get to the throttle body, which is over here. That light is super powerful. Yeah, but there it is. I want to make sure that this is all working and good. The connection here is a bit kind of, I don't know, it's broken from one end, from the clip or the fastener, or however you want to call that. But yeah, that one is broken, so I'm not sure if it's sitting correctly and whether or not that affects anything with the engine performance. but it did develop, and actually I've spoken to the previous owner as well, or owner before the previous one. Yeah, so the car has always had a strange sort of idling issue, that sometimes it idles fine and then other times it just randomly just idles a bit, like not rough, but it's like but the RPM just keeps sort of going up and down about 300 to 300 RPMs, just going woo, just barely. Yeah, so, and no one has so far yet figured it out as to what was the cause. And for a while I bought it, it didn't do it, which is strange, because every time you unhook the battery and leave it sitting for about like 20 to 30 minutes and then hook it back up, it runs fine and starts up fine, and then after a while it starts doing it again. So not sure what the problem is, but what I did was I replaced a lot of vacuum hoses. This is all, well, it's now not brand new, but it's basically new in the sense that I pretty much swapped everything over here. So that's all sort of maybe 1,000-ish miles old. Not too bad at all. Yeah, so that is sort of done, and the mechanism that kind of pushes and pulls the vacuum whatever doohickeys these are, these pumpy thingies, yeah, those were sort of fixed. There is a sort of DIY mechanism to attach the lever to the pump, which was entirely missing, and the car was acting funny. And then after I sort of built a DIY fastener here, this should be like a bone, like this one here. So once I replaced that, did not actually make any difference. So whether or not it's there doesn't seem to make a difference, and whether or not these are any use, I don't know. I'm assuming they're there because they have to be, but that, at least fixing this thing with a temporary fix, did not do much. So the idling issue and the sometimes poor startup problem is definitely something to do with something else. So yeah, I have to figure that one out. Yeah, so anyway, so my goal now is first get the throttle body off, clean it real good, make sure it moves nice and fine, and then on the bench. So this is the MAF sensor that I already swapped, and you can't see it right now, but yeah, it's in there. So anyway, this is a new one, but changing this did not actually make much of a difference, so I'm not sure. Well, it's not new, it was actually used, but it came off a car that was guaranteed that it runs and fine, starts up fine, and actually I was there while testing it, and so I know for a fact that this is a good MAF sensor for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure to take it out and clean it just to be sure, and then yeah, throttle body is next. See what that does, and am gonna do a bit of archaeology and look around and see what else I can find to hopefully figure out what could be causing this strange behavior. Yeah, so well, basically that is the next step. Then I'm gonna remove the bumper, because this is going to need some repair for sure. And yeah, so let's see where we get to. So after that, we're gonna start digging around for the ECU. Can't really test the ECU separately, so I'm assuming if I do this and do the MAF, put it back together, see what it does. Although I have a feeling that that's not really gonna tell me a whole lot, because I've technically done this part already. So maybe doing something with the throttle body will make a difference, although I doubt it. I think I'm gonna take it off, clean it, and then I'm gonna wait until I get my diagnostics cable, so I can kind of finish this, put it back together once again, and see if that makes any difference, if the codes change, anything happens. And yeah, so if still the same story, then our next step will be to swap out the ECU, see if we can find a good one from the wreckers, and then go from there. Yeah, because the gearbox, the way it acts is really strange, because like when you start it up until 1500 revs, it basically is pretty nice, and like it like goes into gear pretty fine, and then it also has sort of, you can feel it has torque, but as soon as you go over 1500 or so RPMs, it just goes into limp mode. It doesn't make a loud clunk or anything, it just sort of like just loses power, and from there on end it's just slipping. But if you keep under 1500 ish RPM and then drive, let's say you pick up speed really slowly and get to slightly higher speeds, it actually shifts really fine, just like normal, no problems. As soon as you hit on it, it just goes crazy. And so the codes also seem to refer to the gearbox not understanding the signals that it's getting from the engine and from the MAF, and from the MAF here and from the throttle body, and it indicates that there's a ECU problem. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna try and see if this makes any difference. If not, then it's probably the ECU that needs fixing or exchanging. I don't think you can fix that. Yeah. Yeah, so there's also a few more bits and bobs that I think might need changing. I noticed there's one vacuum hose that I missed. It's going all the way somewhere down there. So yeah, I think that one needs sort of changing out. And what else? This, I think it's a fuel pressure regulator, probably, or something. But yes, the rubber thingy on here seems a bit sort of frail. It's not broken, doesn't have any cracks in it, but yeah, it looks a bit sort of on its way out, so probably might need changing, as well as this one here. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, but anyway, that one looks sort of flimsy too. And oh yeah, and actually I forgot to check, but this rubber boot, if there's cracks in here, you could actually get an air leak, and that can cause also idling issues. Doesn't seem to be, it's actually pretty sturdy, but yeah, it doesn't seem to have any problems. Yeah, looks to be pretty good. And what I do like about this is that this Audi has been built in such a way that sorry about the camera angle. Yeah, so this Audi has been built with strong plastics for the air ducts, and it's all really like nice and solid, no breaks. And it does, I'm not sure if this is somebody sort of having a genius spark of genius, but yeah, there's a metal ring inserted on this end and on this end as well, sort of to keep the plastic bit here where the fastener goes. It prevents it from cracking, so because it's sturdy plastic, it probably cracks quite well and quite easy. Yeah, so the metal ring in here is definitely a strike of genius. Yeah, so anyway, that is the current story and current situation. Otherwise, this engine is super smooth, super nice. Absolutely love this car. Yeah, so we'll be back soon with the next part after I've gotten off the throttle body and done some cleaning, and we'll see and go from there. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you like what you see, and hope you're interested in sort of finding out stuff about this car, because it's a pretty cool car. I love it. Anyway, yep. So see you next time.